Good morning. My name is Alan Wright. Welcome to rightorwrong.com and Alan Wright TV. I'm going to do something unusual this morning for those of you that are new to this website, and that's almost anybody that's watching it. I'm very sad and I'm very mad, and I'm kind of torn between the two today. On this website, which is a compilation of dozens of websites that I've built over the years, it's coming to a head, a very important head. Now on this site, I often wear blue as part of my Blue Notes, tongue-in-cheek, guitar playing, song singing about sadness. I wear the red and black for madness. The black is bad, red is mad, blue is sad. I've kind of got it all on today. Symbolic for a reason. Now maybe that doesn't mean much to you. It's the desert and I got allergies, so please bear with me. I don't have the coronavirus yet. Anyway, this is going to be a long video. I normally like to keep my videos short, 10 to 12 minutes. This is going to be a longer video, probably in sessions, because I have a little home studio and an amateur setup. But what I have to say today is very, very important. Now, I have given hundreds of speeches to thousands of people over the years, in lots of different places and in lots of different ways for lots of different purposes. This probably, almost assuredly, won't be my best one. But this is an important one. This matters. Probably, very few people will ever see this. But if I don't do it, then no one will see it. So I'm going to do it, and we'll see what happens. This is early in March. I honestly don't know the date. Let's see if I've got it here. I got so many watches. It's the 7th of March, 2020. And I'm going to talk to you about something that you're not going to like. Many of you, even the ones that see it, won't believe it. But I swear to you on everything that I believe in that this is true. Some people have believed me, some people have not over the years. But this is the truth, and it matters. It matters to your life. It matters to where we go from here. It may come down to literally life and death for you, your family, and your friends in time. Sounds very dramatic, melodramatic even, but it's true. So how to begin, how to start, how to go, I don't know. So I'm just going to do it. I'm going to use a few props like my guitar, but I'm going to preach and teach here a little bit. My ultimate calling in life was to be a preacher, but the problem was I tried really, really hard to believe in God, but I couldn't because it just defies reason and all my experience and all that I see around me. So how can you do that? Well, I know all the stories that you can imagine that you've ever heard about faith. But I think what you learn over a course of 72 years is you need to have faith in yourself. You need to have faith in those around you. You need to have faith in what you can see and feel, and not necessarily what these religious pundits have been saying for thousands of years. You need to believe that we matter. Each individual, our lives matter. We're not children of any God. We're not put all our hope and faith in somebody else taking care of our problems. We have to do it ourselves. Now, if you don't believe that, you're not going to like me very well. And you probably wouldn't anyway. I don't claim to be a better person than you. I do know more than you. And you're not going to like hearing that because your opinion, you believe in a democracy, is just as important as mine. And of course it is. But it doesn't mean it's right. And there is a difference between right and wrong. There is a difference between truth and a lie. And you've been listening to lots and lots of lying. I'm going to explain now to you something that is very simple to understand if I can have your attention. Please believe me when I say the biggest problem we face in the world is the attention of people. There's people vying for your attention and they're lying to you. I'm going to try to tell you the truth here if you'll listen, as simply as I can. The truth is very complex, actually, and it's also simple. And that sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? It's because we're a little confused, and I'm going to explain why. I'm going to use this simple little prop. This is a little chip. It's like a poker chip, a coin, if you will. I use it in golf. I'm a graduate. One of my 8 universities I've attended and degrees was at the University of Arizona. Well, that A is for the Arizona, and let's call that tails. Let's call this side of this coin heads. That's the wildcat, okay? So we got heads and tails. And we got a coin. It could stand on the end, or it could lay one side or the other. I want you to imagine for just a moment that people like to say there are 2 sides to every story and all that. But I use this to represent the concept that I was taught by a lot of people around the world in my military days, during my strategic planning days, during my operations days, during my work with government at all levels. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. For right now, let's talk about, let's say these are the Democrats and these are the Republicans. They've got the world standing on end. Our world standing on end. Divide and conquer. They are both trying to accomplish the same goal. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And they represent interests which are not yours. They are both telling you stories that are different, but to accomplish the same goal. It's a strategy called divide and conquer. And it's a strategy held by world leaders and the politicians that are their minions. I'm sorry for the word, but they're whores, they're prostitutes, they're pimps. These prostitutes are led by a coalition of people that represent the elites. Now it sounds like a conspiracy theory. It is. It happens to be true. Believe it, don't believe it. But I'm here to tell you, and it has important ramifications that are coming to a head. I'm going to now prove my point. Most of you were taught that this is our world. This little world right here. Well, it isn't. Of course, we live on a little round planet, and it is our world. But all these little states, these lines drawn on it, these are imaginary lines. They don't exist. These are imaginary lines written. They're put on for a reason, for a lot of reasons, some good, some bad. But these nation states were created as a matter of power. Whether you want to think of it in large terms, the United Nations, the world government, or you want to think of them as independent nation states. However you want to look at it, it's about power and it's about controlling people. That's simply the way it is. But I'm going to show you a picture you've never seen before. This, my friends, is the real world. The result of divide and conquer. Not just nation states, which have been created for a long time now, but this is the real world. This is the divisions that matter. These are socioeconomic. The people in black down here represent, because most of you don't know geometry, half of the volume of this whole pyramid. Okay? Half of all the people in the world, half of 7.8 billion people live in this bottom half. It's painted black because these people are barely surviving. These people are struggling every day to stay alive, have a roof over their head, have water, have food to eat, take care of their kids. Whether they're right, whether they're smart, whether they're dumb, whether they're good, whether they're bad, this is true. half the people of the world are struggling on about $1, $2, $3. You can argue about that because there's strata. And you can argue about the specific numbers. But these people around the world, half of human beings, are struggling to stay alive every day. This pyramid over here represents the United States. You don't see any black. Now definitely there are a few down here, but they're kind of right down at the bottom down here, and they're very few relative to the total numbers. This is only 360 million of this 7.8 billion. I know you care more about these than these, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Red represents danger. Another 40%, 90% total, 50 here, 40 here, of the world are living in danger. If they're out of work for 6 months or more, that's about 1,000 hours of work during the year. Even at minimum wage and stuff, they're going to be bankrupt. They can't have health care. They can't eat well. They don't necessarily have a roof over their head because they can't pay the rent. They can't pay their mortgages if they have them. These people are in trouble around the world. They make the equivalent of minimum wage in the United States or less, depending on the strata again. We have that right here in the United States. This is 50% of this pyramid. 50% of the people in the United States are living like that. In an emergency, this is a fact. They can't raise $500 cash. In an emergency, health, their children need something. Something comes up, friends, family, many things. That was my timer. I'm going to go on a little longer. The camera will probably shut off due to heat. But I'm going to finish this, and then I may have to pick it up in another section and splice this thing. But anyway, then you get up here to this top part. This is 10%, 90%, 10%. These people, these are mostly white for a reason. Europe, United States, Canada, UK. These are white people mostly. They're doing okay. Doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good. This is 40% in the United States. Doing pretty good. You probably are one of these people or one of these people if you even watch this. You don't care about all of this. You might say you do because you're church-going folk or whatever. You might say you do, but you don't. Up here, in this 10% of the United States, and only about 4% of the world, these are the professional folks out there that are doing okay. They're going to be fine. They're the smartest and the brightest and the best that we have to offer through our educational programs, etc., and through privilege. These people have inherited lots of stuff. And they didn't earn a damn thing, but they inherited it. So they're mixed in there too. But I want to get to this little golden tip up here. Perhaps it should have a little piece of shit on the top. This 1% or less up here, and many right up here on the top where the shit is the 1/10 of 1%. And these people have 90% of all the assets in the world. Divide and conquer. And these people control all of the politicians in the world. And it is economic, it's socio-economic because it affects our lives, you and I. All these people act like they don't know this to be true. People, that's ignorance. It's not being totally dumb or stupid, stupid being... Okay folks, I'm back. We've had a little intermission here. I had to splice and dice, and I want to get back to what I was saying. I've been talking to you about what these symbols represent, what these pictures of the world really look like as opposed to this. I want to come back to it from a little different perspective right now. You hear people talk all the time about being smart, about being educated, about knowing what the world is like and everybody's opinion matters and democracy. And you have to understand, folks, it's just a lie. And all the talk about the founding fathers and all the rest, now that makes, in the minds of many of you, believe I'm a communist or a socialist or just another Democrat or whatever. Not true. Not true at all. What I'm going to try to explain to you, because you've heard a lot of this before, but I'm going to give you a little different context. Context is incredibly important. Mr. Einstein, of all the things you've heard about him, one of the most important things he tried to talk about, relativity, has a social manifestation as well. Relativity matters, and you need to think about the world relative to you and yours. We talk about ripples, we talk about different degrees, we talk about degrees of separation. You need to try to understand the world from your point of view. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're a lawyer or you're a doctor or you're a plumber or you're a housewife or you're a whatever you are, okay? You don't really know much outside of your profession, although you like to think you do. And the higher status positions like to think they are. Doctors that I know don't know a darn thing about the world, but they're really, really good at what they do. Specialization has created illusions in the world that are very difficult to penetrate. Now, what I'm trying to do and why I'm trying to point all this stuff out to you is that this is in danger. It's just a cosmic egg, and it gave birth to humanity. This is the human race, the race to the top. Many people lose. You've been taught all your life through all the fairy tales and all the lies and all the education system and all the sports and all the rest are winners and losers. You think these people down on the bottom are losers of the human race. You may not consciously know that, but that's what you've been taught. Winners and losers, and that the people up here that have everything deserve it, and the people down here don't. What you're not taught is the people down on the bottom through generations and generations have had the shit beat out of them. The United States has military in 150 of 190 countries, and do you think that's for them? To help them? You need to understand, fascism is about the marriage between corporations and government. Governments are corporations, and they exist for money, assets, protection. It's a protection racket for assets up here. You take from here, suck it up to here. That's the way it is. Look at the United States and look at the thing with Bernie Sanders and Trump. Trump's a pathological liar, an incredible con man. He's our leader. Bernie Sanders is a democratic socialist. He's a man that understands this somewhat. Trump understands it somewhat. But Trump is a con man, an opportunist. Bernie Sanders is an idealist, but he's trying to do the right thing. He doesn't really know as much as he thinks he does either. He knows he's going to lose. He knows what's going on here, and he knows how that works. This is truly in danger through the activities that are controlled by the people at the top here. And it's primarily through the energy sector. Now I'm going to tell you something you're not going to like to hear again. People haven't changed much over the last 1,000 years. They haven't. Technology has, including the technology of thought and education and propaganda. Technology makes us think we're better than we are. You can't build a house, most of you. You can't build a car, a train, a social system, keep a city thriving. You can't do it. So he said, oh, that's why we all live together. We all have a role to play. That's why we do specialization. That's why we had the Industrial Revolution, etc., etc. You don't really understand those things. I know you want to believe you do, but you don't. You have an image of it. The vast majority of you quit learning anything around the 5th or 6th grade. You just learned the minimum to get through school. Very small percentage of you went on to college and actually learned something in college. Just getting a certificate on the wall doesn't mean too much, other than specific little areas, and you know that. And you've forgotten most of what you know. You don't understand how this system works. Petroleum, folks. Petroleum. Dead snakes, dead reptiles. That's what they teach you. Well, folks, there's a surface area here that's being destroyed, and it runs and controls all the weather in that little bubble that goes around us, the atmosphere. We're in deep trouble, and you don't believe it, most of you. Because your president and all those around him are just flat lying to you. You know what? They're making a bet. I worked in the casinos in Lake Tahoe and Las Vegas, and I'm telling you, they're making a bet. Their fortunes will last them through their lifetime, and they don't give a damn about what comes after. No matter what they say. No matter what they say, they don't. They're lying to you. The planet, the cosmic egg that gave life to us all is in trouble. Now it'll adjust somewhat. The ravages of the climate. Whether there's another ice age, whether there's intense heat in the deserts where I live, or whether it's tornadoes and hurricanes, whatever, it's going to try to survive, this cosmic egg. But in the long run, there's a lot of things that can happen, and a lot of things that can happen to the human race. You need to wake up and find some leaders you can believe in and get behind and do something soon, or we're going to be in deep doo-doo if we're not there already. Which brings me to the concept of this place on my website, Zombieland. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to think of yourself as a zombie, or your children or your grandchildren or your ancestors. But if you don't think very well, and you ignore reality and wanting to have faith or hope, those aren't strategies, folks. It's up to us. Forget the afterlife. It ain't there. You're here now. Do the best you can while you're here. This is real. To you. To me. Relativity. Whether you're a believer in classical physics or don't even understand what they're talking about, or you believe in all the more modern physics, the point is it's relative. And relative to you and your kids and your family now. Get real. Pay attention. Let's solve these problems. They're solvable. I promise you they're solvable. But they're not solvable if we continue this fractionated human race. We have to refigure it. Now there's a phenomenon happening right now. And that's why this video is so urgent. Artificial intelligence, transhuman cybergenesis, on the top and consistent with the fascism on the left, the fascism on the right, even though they're two sides of the same coin, threaten this whole thing. Everything it's meant to you, everything you'd like to believe is true, it's coming to a head. Artificial intelligence in the wrong hands is deadly to very large numbers. It's much more deadly than atomic bombs. Truly. Truly. Deadly in the sense of humanity. Now, there's a very strong chance, folks, and I promise you it's true, that as biological entities we may be coming to the end of it. Not just the peak of it, like you think, like the religious folks that think, whether they're New Agers or not, that we're coming to this age of consciousness, this age at which we've reached the peak of humanity, the end of history, as Fukuyama says, or whatever his name, Francis. What we're getting at is a point where it just may be the end of this race, and maybe just these few people up here are going to live through it, and the rest of us are gone. Or going to be treated like animals in a zoo with 5G and the rest of it, or won't even know the difference because of virtual reality. I'm telling you folks, you don't understand this and you think it's nonsense, I know, but I'm telling you it's true. You better wake up. And you probably won't, but I'm saying it anyway. I don't know if this thing's going to turn off again on me because it gets hot. But anyway, folks, it's upon us. You better learn how to manage these things going on in our society, and you can't leave it up to the terrible lying and divide and conquer folks that are in control right now. So zombies, pay attention. Refuse to pay attention at your own peril. That's my message, simple as it is. Now I'm going to keep making videos, and I'll get more into the detail of it if you're interested. But this is my introduction to Zombieland. It's very real. It's as real as anything. Certainly as real as the heaven which you would like or that you aspire to. You're in Zombieland, folks. It may feel good right now for a whole bunch of you in your comfort zones. I'm pretty comfortable myself. There are a lot of things that make me comfortable that are at risk right now. I'm smart enough to see it. You better get with it, folks. And you form your little groups and get with it and become stronger and bigger, and maybe we can beat it, maybe we can't. There's probably a lot of planets out there that were once thriving like we have been, and they didn't beat it. And they're ended. They're ended, folks. This little planet here could get ended too. And that would take a lot of us along with it. Now, these people, I'm not too sure if they care or not. Ask them. Use your brain. Ask them. Get in their face. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Get in their face. Clean this mess up. Get rid of these roaches. This disgusting piece of crap in the White House. Boris Johnson, Putin, a lot of other dictators around the world that I'm just not going to sit here and name. We got to do something about it. Now, the other side is, most of us are too dumb to be able to handle that. You're not educated, folks. Sorry. We failed you. I was an educator. We failed you. Well, I don't even know if this is on right now, so I may have to do another slice and dice. But here we go. I'm going to go check it. That's all I have to say for now. Good day, adios, Zombieland. Zombies. Are you a zombie?